Hello and welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger on December 3rd, 2020. After doing the two-part miniseries on Native American themed action figures, my girlfriend asked me, are there any characters, action figures, that are Pacific Islanders like herself? And while I tried my best to dig through my rather large collection and going through online sources, I have to admit that unfortunately, Pacific Islanders have been rather underrepresented in superhero communities, action figure communities, and comic book characters, cartoon characters in general, which is a shame because you know that that will offer a lot of a lot of very diverse and unique cultural background and uh, mythology and belief system, even weapons and ideas of magic and stuff like that. So I think there is a gold mine there that has been thus far been largely ignored by comic book and cartoon, etc., etc. However, I did manage to find one character out of my collection that is a Pacific Islander, and that is what we're going to show today. But first, before we bring him out in front of the camera, as usual, someone has to open the show for him. And today, opening our Toy Thursday is this rather unique looking female you see in front of the camera. Her name is Rachel Rose, codename Mother One. Now, since we are not specifically here to do an episode on Mother One, I will just give you a brief bio of who she is. Mother One is a team mission handler for the super soldier team, Wetworks. She was once one of the best in the FBI. One day, while she was on a special mission for her government, she was unfortunately caught in a massive explosion that destroyed both her arms and burned off most of her skin. Just as Rachel Rhodes was on the brink of dying, a nearby urn, a very ancient urn, broke. Inside this urn was a living, organic, symbiotic organism. This symbiote went over and got into Rachel and saved her life and gave her her new special abilities. And after she got back to the United States, Rachel was fitted with the state of art cybernetics that turned her into more of a cyborg than a woman. Later, when tasked with the unsavory duty to assassinate or betray her teammate, she instead decided to side with her teammate, and her team went on and formed the special super soldier team called Wetworks. Wetworks mostly work on the fringe of society, fighting off supernatural beings like vampires and werewolves and alien invaders and stuff like that. They were like superheroes, but they were operating more as special forces soldiers. And the one person that keeps the team together, the one person that keeps them briefed on every mission is this cybernetic woman, Rachel Road, now known as Mother One. Now, as if that is not a really cool backstory already, if you look at this action figure, I mean, this is a very shapely female with golden skin. By the way, if you wonder why it's the skin that color, that's the color of the parasite symbiote inside her body that give her that ability. And basically, what it does is it turns her skin into like a bulletproof armor material. So the mother one, in addition to being cyborg, she also has superhuman durability, superhuman strength, superhuman intelligence. She can tap into any kind of cybernetic, any kind of computer system in the world, and she can use her uplink to control uh, missiles and satellites and attack drones from all over the world. So this is a major powerhouse for her team that she can bring on some incredible firepower when the team needs it. As I said, she's a very shapely female with a golden skin and cybernetic arm. As you guys can see, she got tubes and wires coming out of her arms and guns. Interesting with this, what makes this action figure interesting is she comes with quite a few arm options. So you can actually take her arm off and put on like different cannons and guns and stuff like that, which is really quite cool for an action figure made in around 1994. I liked Mother One so much that this is actually the third Mother One action figure I purchased. The first one broke 2 minutes after I took her out of the package, just like the head just fell off on its own. I didn't even have to do anything. The second one, again, the head fell off, the head broke off after me owning her for a few years, and one day she fell off the bookshelf and broke her neck. So this is the third one, and I've been very careful with this one. Like I said, really like this figure. I think why I like Mother One so much is I really liked Wetworks as a comic book, as an idea for action figures. I always prefer super soldiers over superheroes. I mean, when you have a bunch of superheroes like Superman wandering around with superpowers and wearing spandex, they kind of like they don't have to make a lot of tough decisions. They don't have to. Their story, their goal is very straightforward. But when you are super soldiers, when you are paramilitary or special forces, sometimes you're hit with some really difficult situation, like Rachel here. Her government told her, take your team to do this mission, and no matter if they succeed or not, I want you to kill them. So she got saddled with this decision. Should she obey her government or should she save her teammate? In the end, she chose to save her teammate. So this is why I like military themed comic book and characters because they actually have to face some hard decisions and make some hard decisions and do some things that not always going to be good. Um, Rachel and her team have definitely killed a lot of people, caused a lot of damage while they were fighting off vampires and werewolves and stuff like that. They have to make hard calls. A lot of the plot device in Wetworks comics were rather gritty and dark, and I really like that. And also, I think another thing I like about super soldiers over superheroes is super soldiers, they need to have that teamwork. They need to learn to operate as a team. While superheroes, sometimes they work in a team, but a lot of times they just go off on their own and use their fist and smash things up until things go the way they prefer. Now, why do I have Mother One, aka Rachel, open the show today? It's because the main character we're going to introduce today is her boyfriend. Now, why would a cybernetic cyborg chick need a boyfriend? Well, all I can say is, hey, cyborgs need love too. Hey, no, don't judge. It's just one of those things, okay? And she is pretty curvaceous. I can see that some dude would find her very desirable. So yeah, no, she has a boyfriend, and he is a truly badass character. I'm going to introduce you to Captain Joe Salvador Allende right now. Born in the Philippines, Captain Allende, or Allende, I'm not quite sure how that is pronounced, codename Grail, joined Wetworks in its early days when Wetworks was sent over to the Philippines for uh, dual nationality cooperation thing. Often described as a one-man killing machine, a person who is the most deadly on the Wetworks team. Captain Joe Allende is nonetheless one of the nicest person when he is not on his missions, when he's not serving his duty. He is 6'1", has black hair, brown eyes, and is armed for bears. Let me look at this guy. First, turning him around, that's nice hair, nice long hair. And let's count out his weapon. He has this machine gun that is strapped to his side here with ammo belt attached to it. Let me get it back on his leg. Plug in the ammo belt and plug in the gun. Don't want to lose his weapon. And on his back, he has a sheathed machete. Kind of stereotype over there. If you are Filipino, you got to have a machete. Or even more of a stereotype is these Eskrima sticks in his hand. So he got Eskrima sticks, he got submachine gun, he got machete. That's already pretty well armed for any normal soldier. But on top of that, Captain Joe Allende, we'll just call him Grail because that's his code name. Him and his teammates, including Mother One, we've already talked about Mother One's golden symbiote skin. The rest of Grail and Mother One's team, the rest of Wetworks' team, have also been infected with the same golden symbiote, this alien organism that makes them superhuman. So on top of being one of the best martial artists, one of the best hand-to-hand fighter on the team, Grail can. Well, he just fell over. Grail have the ability to manipulate energy. He can telepathically communicate with his teammates. He can charge any of his melee weapons, like his machete or his sticks, with telekinetic energy. So when he hits someone or cuts someone, it's really explosive. That paired with his already impressive martial arts skills make him one of the deadliest members on the Wetworks team. And when you're talking about an entire team of super soldier symbiotic enhanced superhuman special forces soldier, he is the deadliest. That's really saying something. Eventually, his symbiote started to evolve, and Grail became less and less human. His entire body started to take on the energy form, and he can actually transform himself into pure energy and uh, travel from one place to another on through telephone line or fax line or on energy signals alone. Obviously, he can't do that as an action figure, but aside from being really well armed, this action figure is articulated at the legs, hips, knees, shoulders, wrist, and neck. Not very good by today's standard, but by the standard 1994, not bad. He has a build that is muscular, kind of a little bit stocky, but definitely more nimble looking than a lot of his much bigger uh, American and Canadian teammates. In the end, Captain Joe Allenday, aka Grail, became so powerful that he could manipulate other forms of energy like atomic energy and nuclear energy and uh, electrical energy. And he evolved and took on the new super identity as Assassin One. So his girlfriend is Mother One, and he took on the code name Assassin One. I'm going to show you guys the Assassin One action figure, which is really crazy. I mean, it's like Captain Joe Allenday got on steroid and uh, just got supercharged with a new superpower. They actually had to make a new action figure to depict his new power. Here is Assassin One, the new identity, new power for the formerly known Filipino warrior Grail, Captain Joe Allenday, after his body has transformed into pure energy and he started to live more as a being, a deity or identity of pure energy, pure power. This is Assassin 1. I mean, look at that hair. Look how spiky his hair is. It's like he just got supercharged with electricity. And look at those muscles on this guy. He got them bigger, and all the muscles are now clearly defined. And he's got new weapons as well. A lot of them actually. Let's count them out. He got this really cool double-bladed spear thing, and he's got a crossbow to shoot an enemy with. On the back, there's this quiver. By the way, I made this. This quiver didn't come with the guy. Inside the quiver, you have arrows for his crossbow, and you have a pair of these energy blades. And again, look at that super cool hair. Wow. It's like all those long hair just went all spiky when he's powered up like this. Really cool. And this is way more articulated than the previous action figure as well. This one is articulated as shoulder, elbow, neck, waist, hips, ankles, and knees. Really well articulated. Now, I will say, I don't know how many of you remember me saying when I reviewed the action figure, otherwise known as Renegade, in the Native American series. A Renegade was a good action figure, but one of my most hated because of how he tend to fall apart and drop his weapons at the slightest touch. Assassin 1 is exactly the same way. Like, I really, really, really hate messing with this action figure because he doesn't stand very well, his joints are very loose, and he has a lot of weapons, but he drops them if you just nudge him the wrong way. So I definitely am a little bit on edge when I'm handling this action figure. But as far as design goes, what a nice looking action figure. This is really cool. And you can see that I'm struggling with this because he keep wanting to tip over. So, what is this love story between Captain Joe Allenday and Special Force Mission Handler Rachel Rhodes? Well, it's a short one, but a rather simple and sad one. You see, when Rachel was told by the government to assassinate his own team member, even though she decided to betray the government and save her team member, they had to make it look like everyone died in a massive nuclear explosion. So, to the government, to the world, Captain Joe Allenday, even though he has survived and is now stronger and superhuman, the government has already notified his family that he died, and he has to stay dead to protect his family, to protect his identity from his enemies in the other branches of the military. On top of that, because he is now a being of pure energy, he cannot be touched by any normal person. Like, his energy is actually so strong that any organic matter that touches him would burn to ashes within seconds. That's how crazy his new power is. So he is strong, he is deadly, but he is very lonely because he can't be touched by anybody. In the end, he found his solace, his comfort, his solution in the sexy, cybernetic enhanced Rachel Rhodes, also known as Mother One. Because Mother One's body is largely cybernetic machine, and she is protected by the same kind of golden symbiote that make up the armor of her teammates. She can interact with this deadly energy creature that is Grail, that is Captain Allenday, that is now known as Assassin One. So for the two of them to be in love with each other is partly necessity and probably just two soldiers trying to find a bit of comfort, a bit of love in a very cruel world that betrayed both of them. Thank you for checking out today's Toy Thursday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Fitness Friday. For now, have a good night and farewell.